Alright guys, welcome back. I know you are all excited for the new Salamangreat support, but the reality is that the new Salamangreat support is really Snake Eyes support and will also be Snake Eyes Fire King support, but will also be support for all the fire decks, and I'll show you what I mean with this. We have one new card, the Salamangreat Raging Phoenix, that we will see in a moment here, that enables a way better first turn, not first turn kill, but FTK. It's not the first turn because your opponent plays his turn and then you can attack him and then you can easily kill him with only one card, with only the Snake Eye Ash. You need not a lot of bodies. You know the combo already. You can use the Zealantis together with the Nightmare Phoenix and the Promethean Princess to kill your opponent, but now it gets way easier and you need less bodies for this. So let me show you what I mean and why this is really Snake Eye support in the end and makes the deck way better. We have the new limitations or semi-limitations from Wanted and from the Snake Eye Ash 2-2, but this does not really make a difference. So we are starting with our Snake Eye Ash, which you always have access to. You have two bonfires, you have the Snake Eye Ash's hard draw, you have your original Sympho spoils in the grave, which you can access then the Snake Eye Ash with. But this can also work without the Snake Eye Ash. You can also, for example, start with the Diabell Star, bringing the Snake Eye Ash to the board with the original Sympho spoils, and this still works. So we are playing the Snake Eye Ash, obviously grabbing a Snake Eyes Poplar. We are then going to activate Poplar's effect to special summon and activate Poplar here. In this case, we are going to search the original Sympho spoils. It doesn't really matter though. You could also search the temple. It would end up at the same point. And this is why I just said that you can also start with the Diabell Star here, and then it would still work, because if you start with the Diabell Star, then you need to use the OSS for the Snake Eye Ash, and then you can grab the temple with the Poplar, but it does not really matter. It depends a bit on what is on your opponent's field. The combo that I show you now is like the basic of the basic combo. You can even have one less body and it still works. Obviously, it depends a bit on what your opponent has on the field. If your opponent has a lot of set cards on the field here, for example spell traps, then you might want to go through a Nightmare Phoenix in order, or a Nightmare Unicorn in order to spin some of these back, or to resolve some of these back rows before you want to kill him. But let us just look at the most easiest option here, where our opponent only has one monster on the field, which we will see in a moment here. Then we can do the classic play at this current point, go into a Linkuriboh, the Poplar to the grave, activate the Poplar to reset itself into the spell trap. Then we can, and as I already said, there are different ways. We could, for example, now send away the Poplar, go into an Oak. The Oak will now resummon the Poplar. Though at this specific point, you could also use the Oak to just get the Poplar back to hand, because in the end, we will have one extra body with how we did it here, which is also why you can grab the temple with the Poplar. You don't need to grab the Snake Eye original Sympho spoils, because we don't need this extra body. We have one extra body at the moment that we don't need. So what you can see here is that you basically need 3 bodies, and with these 3 bodies you can do it if you have access with these 3 bodies to your Flamberge Dragon, which is the guy we will go to next. We go Snake Eye Ash. I always like to send away the Linkuriboh, just to have it engraved to dodge something, but also because it cannot be used as a link material for an IP Masquerena. Now we have Flamberge. You could now, for example, set another of your opponent's monsters in the spell trap zone if you need, I don't know, maybe yes, I don't know, a Mirror Jade or something. A Mirror Jade would be particularly bad in this situation, but anything that you want to set in the spell trap zone, basically you can do it now if you want to. Now we can go into an IP Masquerena, because we want the bodies back from the Flame Badge Dragon. We use the Flame Badge on one of our level 1 guys. And here you don't need to go into an IP Masquerena. You can also go into a Nightmare Phoenix. You can also go into a Heater. You can also go into a Dark. And the cool thing is, if you can go into a Heater and the Dark and revive something from your opponent's graveyard, then in theory you would need one less body. So you can go with one less body then, because then you will get an extra body from your opponent's graveyard. Then we will revive with the Flamberge Dragon, the Snake Eye Ash, and also the Snake Eyes Poplar. Then we will go, and this is the classic play, and into Promethean Princess here. And as I already said, you can use your bodies for additional stuff like a Phoenix, like a Cerberus, like a Unicorn, and SP Little Knight into the future would not work. Keep this in mind, because if you use SP's effect, then you can't attack directly. So always keep this in mind. Next thing we are going to do is we are activating the Princess here. You can grab back the Flamberge Dragon. It does not really matter which one you take back here. And then we use the Ash and the Princess, because we are fire locked, obviously at the moment to go into the new guide, the Salamangreat Raging Phoenix, which is one of the new cards that will be added to Salamangreat, which is definitely a super card for Salamangreat itself, but is also amazing for the Snake Eyes and the fire decks that can play this Promethean Princess Raging Phoenix OTK package. This will be a package that also other decks will use in the future. For example, Tenfold Dragon, another fire deck, is also using it at the moment. And there will be other decks that can, because it's just that strong. Let's read this so that we understand what is happening here. The first part doesn't really matter, but the second part does. If a face-up a fire monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can target one of those monsters, so one of those that have been destroyed by card effect, special summon this card, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to that monster's original attack. And obviously we have the princess already engraved, which means we are close to destroying something. You might already see where this goes next. We now need the Salamangreat Raging Phoenix into the graveyard, so we are linking it away for the Zealantis, and now we activate the Zealantis effect, banishing all our entire board. And now we have to imagine that our opponent has one monster left on the field. Keep that in mind. You know this already, I guess, because you need your Promethean Princess now, which will activate, because if you're not aware of the Zealantis, Zealantis banishes all monsters on the entire field and then brings them back immediately, but you can place them however you want, which is very nice because you can place monsters from your opponent face down that have effects that would basically interrupt you. You can choose to place them face down, or this might be cards that can't be destroyed. So for example, I don't know, an Albion, the Sanctifier Dragon, or can't be targeted, and then you can just place them face down and then they can be destroyed, for example. But because we are resummoning something, and also monsters will be resummoned to our opponent's field, that is why at least one monster needs to be on our opponent's field in order for this to work. This will trigger our Promethean Princess, because remember, she triggers when a monster is special summoned to our opponent's field, which will happen now with the resolution of the World Dragon Zealantis. So we are going to choose where to put the monsters that come back. We are going to put the Zealantis in the middle, and then this doesn't really matter, but you at least want one of your fire monsters that comes back to be right on the side of Zealantis, either the left or the right, because we need the link arrows here. And now you can also see in a moment why we don't need two of these. So having, for example, not the Snake Eye Oak or not the Snake Eye Swan Birch Dragon, it doesn't matter, would not be a problem, because we only need one of these to be destroyed with our Promethean Princess. So now we can activate Promethean Princess because a body was special summoned to our opponent's fields. We target the Oak, for example, and then our opponent's monster. This will bring back our Princess here. And you can also imagine this one not being there, because it does not matter. You don't need this Flamberge Dragon. He has an extra body because of our one card combo. Then we can activate the Raging Phoenix in the grave. Just quickly remember, when a fire monster is destroyed, then we can resummon him and he gets the attack of the fire monster. So in this case, he has 2/8, his basic attack plus the 900. So he has a 3/7. So he will come back to the field now with a 3/7. And as you can see right now, we have the 3/7 here, we have the 3000 here, which is 6/7. And this is more than game, and our opponent's board should be empty at this point. If it is not, it's not a problem, because we can still go battle phase. And you might not know this, but the Zealantis has in the battle phase a quick effect. During the battle phase quick effect, you can destroy cards on the field up to the number of co-linked monsters on the field. It does not even target. We have two co-linked monsters here. The Promethean Princess is co-linked with the Zealantis, and the Zealantis is co-linked with the Princess. This is why you need to place the returning fire monsters on your field on either side of the Zealantis, so that the Princess that comes back is co-linked. But we can also imagine, I mean, obviously this is game, right? We destroy more monsters and then we can attack for obviously game, but let's imagine that the Flamebirch Dragon was not here, then it's less attack, right? But let's also imagine that the Raging Phoenix, which always will get a buff from the fire monster it destroys, so it doesn't really matter whether it's the Snake Eye Ash or the Oak or the Poplar, but let's just imagine it would not get a buff, why ever this should be, but even the base attack of these three monsters that you will always get on the field with this combo here is enough to kill your opponent, because you have 6, you have 6, 8, you have 7, 3, and this is exactly 8,000. But keep in mind, this will get a boost as well, so you will have more than 8,000, and it's not very hard. You have seen this with this one card Snake Eye Ash combo. You will have an additional body, in this case the Flamebirch Dragon, also on the field, and this is such an easy combo to get. It's so easy to get here, and you don't even need your Snake Eyes Ash, right? You could also have like an oak in the hand and then resummon something from the graveyard with the oak. And if you then can, for example, go into a Heater or a Dark, can make a Princess, and then you can revive maybe a Flamebird Dragon from your graveyard. So it does not always have to be the Snake Eye Ash. There are other options that get you there as well. You just need these, in this case, we had this 3 bodies here that you need to use. You basically need a Flamebird Dragon, and you need another monster that you can use together with the Flamebird Dragon to get the Flamebird Dragon into the grave. So you get the 2 additional level 1 bodies from the Flamebird Dragon. This is the idea, right? And this is so crazy because this way it makes the deck way better. This kill is very easy achievable. It's hard to stop, honestly. Because your opponent will throw some interruptions at you, but you can still extend and play, get more bodies to the field, and drain your opponents out from interruptions. And the moment we get the Fire King variant, it will be even easier because the Fire King variant has some additional plays that it can make during this kill combo to clean out your opponent's board. But this is really crazy. This is basically the Salamangreat support is basically Snake Eye support. Will make Snake Eye so much better. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of this. Are you excited for the Salamangreat support, or are you now, oh no, don't give Snake Eyes more power? They have just lost a bit of power and now they are definitely back on top, but they still were. So let's not kid ourselves here, guys. Thanks for being here. If you still are here, please consider subscribing, hitting the thumbs up and the notification bell if you like my content, and I will see you in the next one.